Texas Rangers losing again. The lead is down to a half a game over the Astros. They're 1 game up on Seattle. They're 2 games up in the playoffs from just staying in at all as they lose 6-3 here on your home for Rangers baseball. Bruce Bochy, what's up with the lead shrinking?
Hey, Minnesota, we got to see where we're at, and it's time to pick it up. It's go time. We worked hard to get in this position, and we can't let this get away from us. It's time to play good baseball, and so I think it's a challenge for all of us, to amp it up here a little bit.
Bobby, the camera's not on you anymore.
Yeah, no, I didn't want to break eye contact anyway. Jesus, eye contact's important. Ask around.
Look. It is time. It is time to figure out what they're made of. Like, this is the first real. I mean, they faced adversity before. I mean, when you lose your ace twice in one season, you lose him in. He sits out. He comes out of the Kansas City game right with the wrist, and he comes back, and then he leaves with the Yankee game, and then he never comes back. So they've faced adversity, but this is the first time where the adversity was because of losses on the field, not because of injury. They're facing adversity because of losses on the field. Now, some of that may be done because of injury. There is no DeGrom to stop the losing streak. There is no Eovaldi right now. Josh Young's hurt. Heim just came back. Seager just came back a week or 2 ago. So there is a little bit of injury risk, history there and situations, but there's adversity right now. No doubt about it.
36 games left. Are we panicking too early?
No, because, look, you've seen teams, and this one, for example, this team has gone basically 2/3 of the season. The first third, they were elite. 40-20, 60 games. The next third, they're 500. 32-34. And then you do in the next, not quite third, but you get the point. Maybe next 25% of the season, that's where it's going to be. But we've seen this team go through long periods of great elite play and then long periods of very mediocre play. So, yeah, 36 games, that's nothing. That's nothing. That's a month.
The context matters because what's happening around you. Like, the fact that Seattle's playing as well as they are is concerning because you felt the heat just in general of Houston the whole way. The fact that Seattle has made up, 7 games or whatever it is in 10 days, that's concerning. They're all of a sudden right in the middle of this race. So that's the concerning aspect of it. I finally got the number, by the way, 6-game losing streak. With runners in scoring position, they're batting 143 during the last 6 games. As soon as that turns around, you should start seeing positive regression.
Even if it gets to 200 with runners in scoring position.
Yeah.
That's a winner too. It will even itself out, but how much of this 143 is just an evening out from something that was unsustainable earlier in the year? They were never, let's be real. They were never a 300 team with runners in scoring position. And they were probably never 40-20 good. Either.
Yeah, but they were still, I still think they have, them having a top offense or the top offense in baseball is legit to me. There's nothing, I'm not going to view that or think of that as a fluke. I still have faith in the offense. It's going to just be a matter of winning at the right time, losing at the wrong time. They haven't scored more than 3 runs in their last 4 games. So 1, 2, 3, and 3. And then what happens with Nathan Eovaldi closer to returning than Josh Young?
Worst record in the American League in one-run games belongs to the Rangers.
Really?
The worst record in the American League. It is the 3rd worst record in Major League Baseball. So eventually, like you talk about 300's not sustainable, and that's true. Losing as many one-run games as they do isn't sustainable either. I mean, the Oakland Athletics have a better record. They're 18-24 in one-run games. The Rangers are 9-17.
But that may reverse next year and not throughout these final 36 games.
Right. And usually your record in one-run games is generally a testament to your bullpen.
Bruce Bochy, what's wrong with the offense?
I think that's fair to say. I mean, the bats are not quite where they were. Jonah's coming off that injury. I don't think he's gotten his timing yet. I think he's fine. He doesn't feel anything with it, but it's pretty obvious he's just not locked in at the plate. Dolly, it's good to see him hit a home run yesterday. Now with him, he was just expanding the zone, and he should not be tired. These guys I'm talking about have had time off, the ones that are going through a tough time right now. Now hopefully Adolis is out of it and he can get back to being who he is. But you can't say enough about what Corey's been doing for us. Marcus had a couple hits yesterday, but we're not seeing quite the same production at the bottom of the lineup that we were getting with Duran and Leo. I was encouraged with Leo's at bats. He hit a couple balls hard. I thought he competed really well last night, but that was a big part of our production if you go back early in the season.
We sit here and talk about flukiness and what's sustainable and everything else. 72 and 54 in a lot of ways for us, I think probably because of expectations feels fluky, right? And because we know that the bats were hitting way above maybe what expectation were, not just maybe, they definitely were. Everybody in the lineup at one point had an OPS plus that was like 125 or higher back in May. I was just looking at this, the expected win-loss, which is the Pythagorean expectation. The Rangers at 72 and 54, what feels like playing above expectation. Their expected win-loss right now is 81 and 45. That they're actually performing 9 games under what the expectation would be for the peripheral statistics say. That would be the second best record in baseball, expected win-loss, behind just the Braves, who are 83 and 42.
Yeah, look, and again, I mean, how much of that is because of the bullpen?
Yeah, big part of it.
I think a big part of it. And unfortunately, the playoffs, a lot of times become bullpen games. Managers, now Bochy's not going to be able to do this, or maybe he's not going to want to do this, and maybe that's a good thing. You get to October, man, these managers can't wait to get into their bullpen. It's like they get there, they've got an itch on their butt, and they're just dying to scratch it through 4 innings.
To their detriment.
Yes, oftentimes. I mean, you're taking out theoretically, the top 4 of your rotation are better than your bullpen guys long term, for sure. So you would be taking out a Nathan Eovaldi for Chris Stratton. No. But managers are so scared of the hindsight, the armchair quarterbacking, that they're like, you know what? I'm just going to go to my bullpen instead of having this guy go, Kevin Cash, instead of having him go 3 times through the order, Blake Snell, I'm just going to go to my bullpen and let's go.
Zach Wheeler, game 6 last year, Phillies did the same thing. Pulled Zach Wheeler too early. They end up blowing the lead. So, I mean, this is something that I hope, and I can hear, I'm sure in just a second our phones are going to light up with texts from Derek Holland talking about it. But I hope that they've started learning in the last couple of years with these prominent World Series losses with Snell and Wheeler that, like, hey, don't dip into your bullpen too early. It can be too early to dip into your bullpen.